What's going on, guys? Joe with Odyssey Offroad. We are sitting in the 2022 Toyota 4Runner. Haven't done a video on this truck in quite a while, come to think of it. And we just hit 18,000 miles on the truck, and we've had it for over a year. So I figured it's a good time to kind of do a little bit of a walk around, go over the likes and dislikes of ownership of the vehicle for this long. We've put it through its paces. We've done a lot with it, and just having it for about 15 months now, and 18,000 miles again, like I said. So go park somewhere nice and quiet, and get out, walk around the truck, and we'll talk about it. All right, guys, there you see it, 18,017 miles. So let's get out, let's do a walk around the truck, and give you my thoughts. All right, guys. So just to kind of recap, if you don't follow the channel regularly, this is a 2022 Toyota 4Runner TRD Off-Road Premium Package. And so only thing we've done to it so far is the running boards. So we've added the Go Rhino RB. These are the RB20 Slim design running boards. They're very good. They don't hang down too low. They don't hang down past where the lowest point on the truck still is going to be your frame, and the fuel tank. So they don't hang down beyond that. At some point, maybe we'll get like true rock sliders that come out and you can work as steps also. But you really need them to get in and out of the truck, but the wife and the kids do. Specifically for the kids getting in and out of the back seat without wrecking the plastics and stuff. It's nice to have the steps on there. So that's all we've done to it so far. And we've taken it through, I would say, pretty good litany of tests to decipher whether or not we like the vehicle, and come up with a list of complaints about it. And I will be honest, there's not that many complaints. We've done pretty much everything you can do with the truck. We have off-roaded it. We have towed with it. We have taken it on long road trips. So as far as off-roading goes, we've taken it in some of those mountains back there, and taken it on some trails there, and we've taken it to a few other areas and done some off-road trails with it. We took it up. Probably the hardest trail we've done with it is we are south of Tucson, Arizona. So just on the north end of Tucson is Mount Lemmon. And there's a road that goes up the backside of Mount Lemmon, which right now is closed because it's winter and they get snow up there. But in the spring, summer, early fall, you can take the back road up, and that's all dirt. And for the most part, it's okay. It's nothing crazy. Four-wheel drive high, you get through most of the trail. Then you get to the last 7 or 8 miles, and I want to say maybe it's more than 7. It felt like forever. I think if I remember correctly, the sign said the last 7 miles was no unmaintained, high clearance 4x4 suggested. And this is obviously 100% bone stock truck. And there were a few places where the boulders and the ledges, the rock ledges, were probably as big as the tires. And I thought for sure we were going to have damage someplace. I was with the wife and the kids, and we got a little nervous at that point. Not that the truck couldn't do it, but that we'd get through and have significant damage. Take a bumper off, something. But wife got out, spotted me on a couple places. I used the four-wheel drive low with the crawl control feature in rock mode. Never even touched the rear locker, and this thing just went through. I it blew me away what it could do, bone stock truck. And that was the first actually off-road experience we had with the truck. And man, I know I was blown away with what it could do stock. And the wife was very surprised too, I think. So I can only imagine how much better it would be with just an inch or two lift on it and some better all-terrain tires. These stock tires aren't that bad in size, but they're orientated for street. You know, they're the Bridgestone Dueler HTs, and I'll tell you what, they last. We had 18,000 miles on them. They barely look worn. I mean, you could probably get 50,000 out of these tires easy, but we will not keep them because I just don't think. First of all, they're not an attractive tire, and they don't. You know, if you want to do any off-roading with them, you do feel the traction slip at times, and it's definitely a result of the tires. So a little bit better of a tire and maybe an inch or two lift, nothing crazy, to not ruin the kind of daily drivability of it, because it is a daily driven vehicle. She uses it to go back and forth to work, and we go out to family and stuff, vacation, stuff like that. So we don't want to destroy the gas mileage and destroy the drivability of it, but we do want to make it a little bit more off-road capable. And we're not doing anything gnarly with it, too gnarly, where we're going to wreck it. So we just want to get out there, get out in nature, do some exploring, and the truck does great for that. It could probably handle a lot more than what we throw at it, but that's not the intended purpose of it. So as far as that, aspect of owning the truck, it's done everything we've asked for it to do off-roading wise, in just stock trim. So a couple of modifications, maybe in its future. For sure, the first thing will be some tires, and then maybe the second, some better, shocks and suspension on it. The towing, we've towed all the quads. If you guys frequent the channel, we have a garage full of ATVs, 5 of them to be exact. And for a little bit, I had no pickup truck to tow the quads with, because I have a 24 Toyota Tundra right now, which I have a video up on the channel. I had a 2023 Tundra before that, and that truck I had it for 2 months, and it was totaled. I got to a bad accident with it, and the truck was totaled. So I had nothing in between that truck being totaled and getting the new 24. And there was a couple of points where I had to pick up a new ATV, and then we went riding as a family, and we had to get the toys. So we used this, and I tell you, for not having a brake controller, and for being a truck that's rated to tow about 5,000 pounds, I towed, I want to say, with the trailer and all the quads on there, probably about 3,600 pounds, 3,700 pounds. 4 of us in the vehicle, and then the trailer full of 4 ATVs. So one of them being a Renegade 1000, which is 800 pounds alone, with fuel and oil and stuff in it. So plus a cooler full of ice and stuff like that, and gear. So I would not tow more than that weight with the truck, personally. The only reason I say that is the truck handled it great. There's a couple times where when you're towing, I would say if you're towing any more than that, you're going to have an issue. Just because the motor is not the most powerful engine. It's bulletproof and it'll last forever, but it's not the most powerful drivetrain on the planet. So that's where its limitation came in a little bit. As far as just getting up to speed, once it got up to speed, it was fine. And if you're driving with a load on it that much, I would suggest keeping the speeds on the freeway 65 or under. Anything over that, she struggles a little bit when you're going up a grade. So, and the other thing is, I towed it in S mode and kept it in 4th gear. If you put it in S mode, it kind of locks out your overdrive gears. It'll keep it in 4th, and she does much better maintaining speed. If you get over into 5th, if you let it go up into 5th gear, which is overdrive, it's going to for sure be upshifting and downshifting a lot, and that's no good for your transmission. That's what generates a lot of heat in transmissions. So when you're towing a big load like that, if you don't have a tow hole button, which would do that for you, throw it into S, throw the shifter into S mode, and that'll lock out the fifth gear, which is just an overdrive gear, and that'll prevent it from upshifting, downshifting constantly. It'll keep it in fourth. You run about 65 on the freeway, and you'll be no problems. It'll do great. It actually got decent fuel mileage too with towing that load, which I was shocked, considering the motor struggled at times, and we were only running fourth gear the whole time. It was about 14 miles per gallon, over 14 miles per gallon towing. So I was pretty impressed with that. I mean, big full-size pickup trucks don't get much better than that with bigger, more powerful motors. So that was good. Road trip wise, just the family. We go out for the day, go up to Tucson, go to the movies, or go take the kids to dinner, or family vacation. We took it to California a couple times. It does great. Over 20 miles to the gallon on the freeway. Obviously, it depends on how fast you're going. If you're going about 70, 75, you can get over 20. If you're kicking it 75, 80, you're going to start dipping down to the 18s. But still, for a vehicle that people say, oh, it's ancient, it's a dinosaur, it's been around forever, it's horrible on fuel, I find that to be 100% inaccurate. For a mid-size body-on-frame SUV, this is a real truck. This is a body on a frame. This is not a unibody vehicle, soccer mom SUV. So for it to get 18 to 20 miles per gallon and be able to do everything it does, off-road, towing, I think that's terrific. The fact that people complain about that, I mean, we're living in a day and age where people are just, you guys that are complaining about the fuel mileage are the ones driving and pushing and feeding this whole narrative for, green vehicles and battery-powered garbage. So, as you can tell by my statement, I'm not really a fan of that, the EV movement, and I don't really think it's going to succeed. But that's a video for another day. Maybe we'll do another topic to discuss and rant about that. But yes, I mean, that's as far as performance-wise and all that stuff. Zero complaints. As far as durability, we've had zero issues with it, not one lick of problems. We've changed the oil on it every 5,000 miles, and we've taken it to Toyota for every 5. You get 5, 10, 15, 20, and then 25,000 mile maintenance. And what they do with that is they just at the 5,000 mile interval and the 15,000 mile interval, they only just rotate the tires and check the fluids, stuff like that. At the 10,000 and 20,000 mile interval, you'll get oil changes. So she'll take it in for its service. At the 5,000 mile interval, and then she brought it home. I changed the oil on it. Same thing at the 15. So we're at 18,000 now. At 20,000, we'll take it to the dealer. They'll do the 20,000 mile service, and including changing the oil. And then I'll just maintain every 5,000 mile oil changes from there. As far as everything else on the vehicle, no problems. Paint quality's terrific. Minimal chips, with 18,000 miles and a lot of freeway here in Arizona. Very minimal paint chips. I actually, maybe, it's one tiny one right there. It's not too many. Truck's a little dirty right now. It actually rained this week here, so driving back and forth to work in the rain and the wet roads got a little dirty, and so she's ready for a bath. She'll get a bath today. But yeah, the paint quality's been great. Body, all that, squeaks, rattles, none of that. We haven't had any issues with that stuff. And yeah, so that's as far as that goes. No problems. Truck's been great. Interior, take you in there. I'll show you. Interior has been good also. Held up great. Getting in and out of the truck for 18,000 miles. Seats, no problems. They don't even look like they have any wear on them at all. These are the fake leather. Toyota calls Softex, which is like synthetic material. It's not vinyl. It's not leather. It's kind of a combination of materials that feels like leather, but better quality than vinyl in it, and it's very durable stuff. And it holds up good. As you can see, it doesn't even look worn at all for 18,000 miles sitting in it. Not that that's a ton, but there's zero where I've seen vehicles with 18,000, 20,000 miles on them. You can already see the edges of the seats wearing and all crinkled and wrinkled out. So everything else has been good. Interior has been good. It doesn't have a JBL stereo system, and for a stock stereo system, compared to, say, Toyota's not known for having great stereo systems, but for a base stereo system, not having the JBL, the sound quality is actually not bad at all. It's very good. I've had Tacomas and Tundras in the past with the non-JBL stereo systems, and even with JBL stereo systems, and this is probably better than most of those sound quality wise. Of course, could it use an upgrade? Yeah, absolutely. If you're a audio guy and you like your high-end crazy stereo systems, obviously it's not going to do it for you. But for my wife and us going out with the family, which we're not cranking the stereo, blasting it anyway, the sound quality is actually fairly good. No complaints with that. It's what you would expect for bass stereo. Probably a little better, I would say, than most bass stereos, non-high-end stereo systems. So interior is held up well. Back seat too, where it gets most of the abuse, because obviously your wife and I are very careful in the front, but the kids, spill stuff on road trips, eat food, drop crumbs, and with simple vacuuming and wiping down of some interior cleaner, vinyl cleaner. I think she used my wife takes very good care of it. She cleans it weekly usually, but sometimes bi-weekly. And I think the last time she wiped the interior seats down with the mother's VLR, which is the vinyl, leather, and rubber care. And you can see the seats are like brand new. They don't leave a greasy film. Works good. So yeah, so that's good. Carpet's good. Comes with the rubber floor mats, so you're not going to see much wear there as long as you're keeping your feet on the mats. So let's talk about my. I say my, but let's say our, because it is the wife's vehicle primarily, but I do drive it a lot. Likes would be the on-road manners and comfort. It's a very comfortable road trip vehicle, very comfortable daily driver, very easy to use controls inside, and for daily use, there's never a day where you're like, I wish it had this, or I wish it did that, or this annoys me. There's never been any of that. There's very few complaints in that regard. Other likes are, I like the fact that it can tow, and that it could tow the toys in a pinch if I needed it to, which we did already. That's nice, although it's not going to tow it like a big burly pickup truck or a bigger vehicle. For a mid-size SUV, and what I did with it, I couldn't ask any more. I wouldn't do it on the weekly or the daily, because I think that's just to be kind of abusive to the truck. But now and then, it does it no problem if you need to. And the off-road capability would be another one that I would say is in stock form. Again, blown away by what it does. This is the non-KDSS suspension, so it doesn't have that. The KDSS it's a little. This doesn't have it, but the KDSS from Toyota, basically, it's kind of like, it's not a sway bar disconnect, but it works similarly in the front. You can look up videos on it on YouTube, and it'll explain it better than I am right now, for sure. But this doesn't have that. And so for a stock standard suspension with no sway bar disconnects, no KDSS, no nothing, the articulation that this truck gives you is terrific. going over those big obstacles on that trail that day, and then another day we went on, and I'll post a video clip here at some point in the video. You see it. Another trail where we did not too gnarly of terrain, but enough. And it flexes, it articulates, it soaks up to bumps very, very well. So I'm very happy with the off-road capability of the truck. I'm very happy with the fuel mileage of the truck. It's another like. Going into it, didn't really know what to expect. Everybody complains about how terrible the fuel mileage is on these trucks. And I do not find that to be the case. I think either some of you have ridiculous expectations for what a truck should do. You guys want trucks to do truck things and get 30 miles to the gallon, and that's just not realistic. You know, this is does truck things. It off-roads, and it gets just as good a fuel mileage, if not slightly less, than some of your soccer mom SUVs. So that's saying a lot, in my opinion. And you'll hear a little noise in the background. There are some dirt bikes back there motoring through the trail. If you guys can catch them. Let's see if we can get them on camera. Here they come. So it is riding season here in Arizona, for sure. So everybody's out on their units. Dirt bikes, ATVs, trucks. And this is a great time of year to be living in southern Arizona. Alright, we just paused that, let the dirt bikes get by. They were all looking at me filming, like wondering what I was doing. But yeah, I mean, all those things are really things that we really love about it. I love the quality of the truck too, as far in terms of, you know, we've taken it off-road, like I said, down some really rough washboard roads too, and where everything, you know, it's like you would think vibrate apart. That's where things will start usually rattling stuff on you. We haven't had any of that stuff, so everything's pretty solid. And so the quality, the ability to tow, the fuel mileage, which is not something that people usually brag about or have as a like on this truck. I think it's a positive, and its capability. It's just been great. Now let's get into the dislikes, because this obviously with any vehicle is going to be goods and bads. And you know, for the last couple days thinking about recording this video, I've been trying to come up, just to keep it honest, dislikes, and I struggle to find any that I can think of. So I got a couple. They're probably just a stretch, just to kind of throw them in there. And I would say the number one is the shocks, the factory shocks. They're not bad. Like I said, they allow the truck to perform and do all these things that I mentioned previously, but they're very soft on the road. So braking, you get a lot of nosedive on hard braking. So the front end will come down quite a bit, a lot of nosedive. And when first got the truck, you know, when you first get a new vehicle and every vehicle drives different. And so when you get into something, it's like, wow, this feels whatever it is. There's always an aspect of a new vehicle you get in and start driving that jumps out at you right away. And that was one of the things that jumped out at me that I didn't like at all, was the nose dive. And that's one of the reasons why I want to upgrade the shocks. It's not terrible, but it does have quite a bit of nosedive, and it's got the shocks are very soft, factory. So that is one thing I do not like. That's probably be the number one dislike. Second dislike would be the stock tires they give you. I don't know why they can't give you a decent set of all-terrains. Toyota's never been known for that. Even on the new Tundras, the TRD Pros, everything. They give you the Falcon Wild Peaks, but they don't even give you the real Falcon Wild Peaks. They give you, you know, a version that they had Falcon make for them that are way more street oriented than off-road oriented. They're not the true Falcon Wild Peak all-terrain ATWs. They're a totally different version of them, and you know, so Toyota doesn't like to do it for whatever reason. I guess that helps with their you know, EPA ratings, so, which I can understand. When the government's down your throat breaking your balls about everything, you know, I guess you got to do whatever you got to do to make the numbers look really good. They know most people are going to upgrade that stuff anyway, so that's probably why they do that. But there are other manufacturers that do give you some really nice tires from the factory. You know, Jeep comes to mind, Ford with the Raptor, and they give you some decent tires. Even the Ranger Tremor and the Tremor F-150, I think it is, comes with the General Grabbers, and they're decent tire too. Even those on here, which are not super aggressive all-terrains, better than these Bridgestone Duelers. I mean, they may last great, and if you never touch dirt, you probably won't have to change them. They are the ugliest tire by far you could put on it, probably, in my opinion. I mean, they're just boring. They look like a balloon, look like they belong on a wheelbarrow, in my opinion. They last, obviously. They don't wear out, and they're a great performing tire for the street. But man, ugly. They are just plain. I like a tire with some nice sidewall, and these are just not that. So these are going to be probably the first upgrade. We're going to ditch those, and we'll get to contemplating either the BFG all-terrains, which my only reservation with those is trying to get a C load range and not go to a D and an E, just for weight purposes. If I get them in a C load range rating to keep them lighter, then I may go that route. Otherwise, the regular Falcon Wild Peak all-terrains are a very nice tire. They're lighter, and then maybe I like the Nitto Ridge Grapplers too, but again, they get into where they're a little bit heavy, and I don't want to ruin the drivability and the fuel mileage that it gets for the road trips and all that stuff that we do with it. Another thing I really, I wouldn't say dislike, but I don't know how if you could categorize it as a dislike. I would just say maybe there's so many Tundras out, Tundras. There's so many 4Runners out there on the road. They make so many of them in the same color, and it was slim pickings when we got this, and it's a nice color, the MGM, the magnetic gray metallic. But there's a lot of MGM 4Runners on the road, and Toyotas in general. They just produce so many vehicles in this color, beyond, more than other colors. And so that's actually my wife's biggest complaint. The color is kind of like, I like it. It's a nice color, and she likes it too. It's just that it's so common. It's not unique at all. So that would be, if she could swap this straight up, keep the same payment for the same exact truck, and say Lunar Rock or a different color, she would do it in a minute. But that being said, it is a nice color. Paints holds up good. So, and it doesn't look, even though now it's really dirty, it doesn't look that bad, believe it or not. For a darker gray, it does hide the dirt pretty good. It could be pretty dirty and still look decent with the metallic, the way it it reflects the sun and stuff. It just doesn't always look that bad. The TRD off-road wheels. Now, the newer generation Toyotas, like if you look at my 24 Tundra with TRD wheels, the black TRD wheels, they're much better quality. These previous generation ones, the paint was very, very flat. I know it's matte black, but they're matte black on the new ones too, and they're a little bit more sheen. I would classify the newer Tundra TRD off-road wheels, or TRD wheels, the black ones, as more of a satin, and this more of a matte. Satin is going to be slightly more sheen than matte, if you know anything about paint. So it makes it easy to wash, but you still don't get that high gloss. It's still kind of dull. These are flat, almost flat, not even matte. It's barely even matte. I would say flat black, which is the lowest sheen level. And they look dirty, and washing them, you got to keep them clean good. Once you let them get stained and you let the dirt get embedded into the finish, you're screwed, because they're flat and they don't wash as good as a paint with any type of sheen on it. The dirt just doesn't come off as good. I keep them with a sealer on it, and after I wash them every once in a while, I spray a sealer on the wheel, some type of paint sealer like you would spray on your paint. I do them on the wheels, and that helps them wash off and clean much easier. And so that's a negative. I know I'm nitpicking here with these, but honestly, I don't really have that many negatives about the truck. We really love it. And then I would say the last thing would be and again, this is really nitpicking, but for a truck that came out in 2022 and there's no auto headlights on or off. This is a big pet peeve of my wife's. When it gets dark, you got to manually flip the headlights on. Okay, so yeah, I know that's, again, right, like I said, I'm nitpicking here, trying to come up with things. But you know, the daytime running lights are halogens, so we don't even keep them on because it looks silly. And then when it gets dark, if you're driving and it's getting dark, the sun's going down, you're gonna have to turn the headlights on manually and then turn them off. You know, obviously when you park the car. Other than that, I really can't think of any complaints about it. The truck's been great, no problems. We do plan on keeping it unless some crazy deal comes along that we can, you know, try something different and not increase our budget on the payments for the truck. Maybe we'll entertain it, but for now, the plan is to keep this thing. We'll do another review on it once we get a significant amount more mileage, and we'll update you guys if any mods we do. Which, if we do keep it like we plan on doing now, we do plan on upgrading the suspension and the tires. For tires, like I said, I already talked about my options I was thinking about. And for suspension, I'm thinking maybe just an inch in the front, 1.5 inches, nothing crazy, and maybe like an inch in the back. So I was looking at the Eibach Pro Truck Lift, which comes with new shocks, new coil springs all around. And that gives you about 1.5 inches in the front and 1 inch in the rear. And I think that'll be perfect, even with stock size tires, but just upgrading them to a BFG or, you know, some type of all-terrain. The truck would be terrific. I mean, it performs off-road, and what we're going to use it for now, spectacular. So just doing that is going to just enhance it that much better and won't be over the top, where you're going to destroy reliability and road characteristics, highway characteristics of the vehicle. In hindsight, if we were in the market right now to buy another truck, an SUV, vehicle for the wife, would we buy this truck again? I would say yes. There's not too many other vehicles that suit our needs and fit the bill for what we're looking for in a vehicle, other than this truck right here. No other manufacturer makes a vehicle, mid-size SUV, off-road capable, that can tow. Besides, there are two others. You have the Ford Raptor, and although I absolutely love the look of the Ford Raptor, and here we have some more, and we have ATV riders here coming, wheeling through here. You can hear them howling and hooting. And he's having a good old time, that guy, on his old Grizzly. He was, I don't know if you guys heard him coming up the trail there. He was howling, and there's somebody back there shooting too, I think it sounds like. Somebody's firing off the pew-pews. So yeah, I mean, there's only two other vehicles you could get in this category. And they're probably both a little bit more off-road capable than this truck is. Slightly, maybe a little more than slightly better, just for ground clearance wise and stuff like that, and the ability to fit bigger tires. And they would be the Ford Bronco and the Jeep Renegade. I don't know why I said Renegade, but the Jeep Wrangler and the four-door Jeep Wrangler. So the Bronco is a, man, we see them at off-road shows and car shows and stuff like that, and I just love to look at them. My buddy just bought one. He works at a Ford dealer. He's a salesman. Unfortunately, the dealership he works at does markups, so I probably, sorry Justin if you're watching this video, but I probably wouldn't be able to buy one from him if I wanted one, because his dealership does do markups, and there's another dealership that and a sales guy I know up in the Phoenix metro area that they don't do any markups at all. They sell at MSRP or under on everything. So if I was in the market for one, I'd probably have to go there unless my buddy can pull a rabbit out of a hat. But what concerns me with the Ford is reliability. I mean, just, you see a million issues online with off-roading and doing stuff, tie rods breaking, electrical issues, stuff like that. And modern Fords just seem to be riddled with those little gremlins, those electrical issues that just creep up on these vehicles for some reason or another. I don't know why, and it's a shame because they make some beautiful trucks, but they do seem to have some of these issues that more than other manufacturers. And maybe it's because they produce so many that there's just more of the issues are amplified because there's so many of the trucks on the road. But man, the odds just seem like you're going to have a problem more than not. And who the hell wants that, when you spend that much money on a new vehicle? So that would concern me. Although, if I got one and it was under warranty and it was a decent deal, I may do, I may do it. Or I may consider it, I should say. And, if it gets through the warranty life, 3 years, 36,000 without any problems, then maybe you can count on it lasting longer. But if you had it and it was riddled with issues and constantly in the shop for warranty repairs within the first 18 months, then maybe that's a sign you should get rid of it before the warranty is up. And then the other vehicle, which I think is a much better vehicle than people give it credit for these days, is the new Jeep Wranglers. I had a Gladiator on the channel, as you know, and it was a great truck. I mean, and my buddy has had 2 Wranglers now. He had a 20, I think it was a 21 Rubicon, 2-door, or a 22. And then now he's got a new 2024 Rubicon 4-seater with the Extreme Recon package. And Jeeps, the Wranglers and Jeeps in general, with the 3.6 Pentastar engine and 8-speed transmission, they drive very well on the road. They're much better than the older Jeeps, the JK. I've had the JKs, and it was a nice truck, but on the freeway, it was horrible. It was horrible motor in that Jeep, that old motor, 3.8 liter, which was like a minivan engine. They stuck in that thing, and it just did terrible, especially with 35s on it and a lift. And we have more people pulling in to ride their dirt bikes, so I'm in a popular destination today. But we're going to wrap this one up. But those are the 2 vehicles that I would consider buying if I were to replace this. I'm not going to say it would never happen, because it may, and we like to change things up. And but as of right now, there is no plans to do that. For one, those other 2 vehicles I mentioned above are very expensive, and we don't have any complaints or problems with this truck. So that's it for this one, guys. I hope you enjoyed it. Smash the thumbs up button on your way out. Again, this is Odyssey Off-Road. We do ATVs, trucks, anything to do with off-roading. We touch it on the channel. So if you haven't subscribed to the channel already, and you would like to consider subscribing, browse through the channel first, see if check out all the other content we have, and consider subscribing. I appreciate you watching. We're at over 4,000 subscribers right now. And counting every day. It's just going up. The channel's really taken off in the last few months, and I am so appreciative to all you guys who do subscribe and support the channel and share the videos and like them and comment. You guys are awesome. We want to keep growing the channel, so again, share the videos if you can. Subscribe if you haven't. Like the video if you do, and we will see you guys out on the trail.